Can you guess which movie we're going to be talking about today? Welcome, Spooky Babes. My name is Dannie, and I am your host, and this is Brewja Coffee Hour, where your favorite movie, your favorite horror movies, meet the perfect coffee pairing. And today, we're slicing into one of our most iconic films, or flicks, of all is Scream. Whether it's your first to watch it or your 100th time, this movie never gets old. But before we dive into this twisted world of Ghostface, we're kicking things off with a drink bold and dangerous as the movie itself. Let me introduce you this week's what's it called? Brew. It's called the Slasher Vanilla Chai. A drink that's gonna keep you on your toes, just like those late night phone calls from an unknown number. Creepy, right? Now, if you're watching and wondering what makes this chai different from your everyday sip, let me paint a picture. We got a rich vanilla chai base with warm spices like cinnamon and cardamom, and think of it as your comfort zone, right? But then, just like Ghostface, we throw in a little something unexpected. A cherry syrup. You can kind of see the little red right there. When I pour it in, it just looks cool. I'll post the video later. It's really cool how it meshes well. It's sweet with a little bit of tardiness, just like the first scare horror movie that you know you're in something wild. And really, to give you a jolt, we got a shot of espresso in there. It's a drink that's smooth but hits hard, perfect for keeping you awake during those late night Scream marathons. Feel free to get creative, maybe add a little drizzle of cherry syrup on top if you're feeling a little extra dramatic, like the third act twist in the slasher movie. All right, take that first sip and let's dive into the twisted world of Scream. Before I start this episode, I do want to do a spoiler alert. If you have not seen Scream, please pause this episode right now. Get your butt off your phone or whatever you're listening to, and please stream Scream. I think it is currently on Max right now. I would link the Max website. I can't say Max. I have to say HBO Max. It just sounds weird. And then plus I have a close friend, his name is Max. So I wouldn't say that. But either way, I would say stream it right now and then hop back on and join the brewing conversation after this episode. So go right now. Bye. Love yous. Bye. All right, booze. Let's talk about what made Scream such a game changer in horror. Released in 1996 and directed by Wes Craven, the movie had everyone scared to pick up their phones. The story follows Sidney Prescott, your classic final girl, who's being terrorized by a masked killer. But not just one killer, two killers. And this whodunit aspect keeps you guessing the whole time. But what made Scream stand out more wasn't just the blood and the kills. It was the way it was played with rules of horror. The characters knew they were in a horror movie, and they talked about it very openly. We got Randy, the movie geek, literally laying out all the rules to survive. Don't say, I'll be right back. Which, spoilers, someone says, yeah, they're not coming back. This movie is scary, but it's also clever and funny. It's like a horror version of Wink and Nod, and the audience ate it up. But before we get into the juicy details, let's flash back into the iconic ghost-based phone call. Sydney's terror, this trailer is what nightmares are made of.
Hello?
Hello?
Who is this?
You tell me your name, I'll tell you mine.
I don't think so.
What's that noise?
Popcorn.
You making popcorn?
Well, I'm getting ready to watch a video.
Really? What?
Oh, just some scary movie.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
You never told me your name.
Why do you want to know my name?
I want to know who I'm looking at.
Someone is playing a deadly game.
It all began with a scream over 911.
Someone who's seen one too many scary movies. Now, he's taken his love of fear
Hello?
Hello, Sydney.
one step too far.
Do you like scary movies?
What's the point? They're all the same. Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act, who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a scary movie. Number one, you can never have sex. Hey, shoot, that's me. Never, ever, ever, under any circumstances, say, I'll be right back. Because you won't be back.
Get another beer, you want one?
Yeah, sure. I'll be right back.
He didn't make the rules.
The police are always off track. If they watch prom night, they'd save time.
He just kills by them. Don't answer the phone. Don't open the door. Don't try to hide.
Everybody, the suspect!
Not scared, are you?
Scream.
Okay, let's talk about what's really set Scream apart. It's meta horror vibes. This wasn't just your run out of the mill slasher filk. Hold on. Okay, let's talk about what really sets Scream apart. It's meta horror vibe. This wasn't just your run out of the mill slasher flick where everyone blindly runs into danger. Oh no, Scream is way better and smarter than that. The character knew they were in a horror movie, and that awareness became part of the fun of this film. You got Randy. The horror buff explained all the rules of surviving the slasher. No drinking, no drugs, and definitely no sex. Because, as he says, those are the rules. And yet, knowing the rules doesn't stop them from getting sliced and diced. It's like the horror movie was telling us, yeah, you think you know how this goes, but do you really? And that's what made this such a fun, wild ride. And the self-awareness, total chef's kiss. It was fresh, fun, a breath of new life into a genre that had gotten a bit, well, predictable.
Watch prom night, they'd save time. There's a formula to it. A very simple formula. Everybody's a suspect.
All right, my spooky crew. You can't talk about horror without mentioning the real-life dark side. Scream may be a work of fiction, but it is inspired that scarier than any movie, that true crime story of Gainesville, Florida, or the Gainesville Ripper, Dannie Rolling, terrorized a Florida town in 1990, literally six years before this movie came out. 1990, killing 5 college students in a brutal fashion. Creepy, right? The way he stalked his victims were eerily close to Ghostface. And that's what makes Scream a hit. A little big hit. When you realize that there are real monsters out there, it's a whole new level of unsettling. I mean, Scream isn't just about the jump scares and the phone calls. It taps into something primal, the idea at any moment someone could be watching you, waiting to strike and that fear what keeps you looking over your shoulder long after those credits are rolled.
Oh, you want to play psycho killer? Can I be the helpless victim? Okay, let's see. No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel.
Let's talk about Ghostface, shall we? Unlike the other horror icons like Freddy or Jason, Ghostface is a mystery every time. You never know who's behind the mask until the big reveal. And that is fresh, babe. It's not just one villain, it's whoever decides to pick up the knife. And the way scarier because it could be anyone. The killer changes, but the mask stays the same, which is part of why Ghostface has become so iconic. And can we talk about that voice? The way he taunts his victim, what's your favorite scary movie? It's playful, it's also menacing. You can't help but get chills whenever he's on screen. Even if you're laughing the next second at his cleanliness and he trips on something, he's terrifying, but in a way that feels real life. Like this isn't some supernatural being that can be stopped. It's a real person behind a mask.
Why not set your goals higher, huh? You want to be one of the big boys? Huh? Manson? Bundy? OJ?
Now, let's not forget how Scream completely redefines the slasher genre. It wasn't just a hit, it became a cultural moment. After Scream, everyone was talking about the horror in a new way. Suddenly, the rules of the genre were being questioned. And that famous line, "What's your favorite scary movie?" In a way horror films ever do. From the fashion, hello, Drew Barrymore's blonde bob, and her cozy sweater, to the soundtrack, Scream gave us a vibe that lasted well beyond the 90s. It's still quoted, still referenced into movies, TV shows, and even TikToks today. That's how you know that a movie isn't just a hit. It is a legend, and I mean, who hasn't dressed up as Ghostface for Halloween at least once?
Hello?
Why don't you want to talk to me?
Who is this?
You tell me your name, I'll tell you mine.
I don't think so.
What's that noise?
Popcorn.
You making popcorn?
Uh-huh.
I only eat popcorn at the movies.
Well, I'm getting ready to watch a video.
Really? What?
Oh, just some scary movie.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
Halloween. You know, the one with the guy in the white mask who walks around and stalks babysitters?
Even after all these years and sequels, Scream hasn't lost its edge. Each new movie brings its own twist, its own take on Ghostface, but the core remains the same. It's about the rules of the horror, yes, but also about breaking them. And just when you think you figured it out, bam! They throw something new at you. The latest Scream installments have kept the spirit alive, even adding modern touches. Hello, social media, viral fame, but it never strays too far from its original great. That blend of self-aware humor, brutal kills, and a story that hooks you right from the start. So, my spooky boos or babes, what have you learned from Scream? Well, if you ever get a creepy phone call, don't stick around to find out who's on the other side. And never, ever say, "I'll be right back." Trust me. But beyond the rules, the Scream taught us the horror can be smart, funny, and still scare the pants off you. It is a franchise that has aged into fine wine. Or maybe a vanilla chai with a splash of blood red cherry syrup. And we love that for us. Before we close out, let's take a look at I'm gonna call it the dirty slasher vanilla chai because it has a shot of espresso in it. The cherry adds up the sweetness, dangerous kick, and the espresso, well, that's up to keep you on the edge. Just like Ghostface. Whether you're watching Scream for the 100th time or introducing a newbie to the series, this drink will be perfect for a horror movie companion. Don't forget to check out our new episodes on whatever platform you listen on. It could be Spotify, Apple, I think YouTube has a podcast too, and Amazon Music. But keep up the conversations brewing, and remember, stay curious, stay caffeinated, and stay safe. Bye.